Today, and conditions looking a little tamer than they were for the men's sprint yesterday, and a surprise win, Alexander Simon in the men's sprint. Maybe we'll see something similar in the ladies, over 7.5 kilometres. Frank Luck, Ziggy Heinrich have been out on the course again, and we're going to hear from them in just a moment. And to start with, here's Ziggy. So it's a big, exciting race coming up today, and that is because Kati Wilhelm is launching her attack on Olga Pilieva as the leader of the World Cup standings, just 6 points behind. How does Frank Luck see her chances?
Well, of course, Kathy leading by 6 points. It's clearly almost nothing. She's also starting in the red jersey, so a big confidence boost there. And in San Sicario, she was very fit, and it'll be an interesting duel today when they face each other.
But this race, of course, isn't just going to be about Kati Wilhelm. Sandrine Bailly and Liv Greta Poirier will have a word in the way things go. And, of course, at the European Championships in Novosibirsk, the Russian ladies taking the top 4 places. And Ziggy asking Frank whether the Russians are now taking over the world of biathlon.
And Frank says, well, clearly there is a strong Russian team at the European Championships with Bugali, Ishmaratova, Sheranusova. But Pilieva and Zaitseva compete here. It doesn't mean to say that there isn't a strong team here either, so really will be an interesting mix today.
So lots of names to watch out for today. Ziggy, hoping you enjoy the events here in Pokljuka, and well, Kati Wilhelm I think will probably start as favourite, Mike, having shown such speed a week ago in San Sicario.
She did have conditions, I think, as you pointed out in that race. She did have the conditions were in her favour. A start number 1 last week, she started number 2 today, and really within the whole hour and a half, hour 45 this race goes, I don't think there'll be any significant advantage between first and last athlete.
Well, it's going to be Jill Kraus-Best of the United States who gets affairs underway in just a few minutes' time. Before that, Mike, just talk us through the warm-up process that these athletes are going through at the moment.
They started zeroing 50 minutes ago. The zeroing finishes now. A little bit windy, so they've been testing and adjusting their strike where the target hits. Been skiing between 3 and 7 kilometres in the warm-up, doing...
Welcome back to Pokljuka. We've just heard that Michela Ponza of Italy is not well, so she's got a bit of a problem, not starting today, so that takes our number of starters down to 88. We've got a little problem as well. We haven't got the pictures, the live pictures that we're expecting from Pokljuka, so we'll stay on the wide shot for now. And I guess, Mike, we've got time for you to give us your prediction for today's race.
Well, yeah, sorry, I've just been looking at form, and Zaitseva, I feel, is coming up into good form. Ystad hasn't dominated yet, but her ski speed is top 2 from San Sicario. Shooting not quite so good, but she likes this track here. It suits her style. So I think we might see Ystad coming through.
Well, that'd be interesting. Maybe the Belarus team can improve, because in the men's event yesterday, this man, Alexander Simon, blasted his way to victory with stunning shooting. But really the most impressive of all, Mike, was his last lap of skiing, where he was so strong. And he got a good result in San Sicario last week, getting 3rd in the sprint. Went 2 better yesterday to take his first ever World Cup win. What do you think of his future?
His future, well, you know, after 9 years on the World Cup Tour, it's only this season that he's come to the fore, and I think that's because the rest of the big stars in the Belarus team are having such a bad year. He's built some confidence, and at 27-year-old, this could be the beginning for Alexander Simon.
Well, we'll see, and if it reflects on the women, then you need to watch out for Elena Zubrilova, who starts today. And Zubrilova, the best of the Belarus skiers, she's lying in 4th place in the World Cup standings, 135 points off the lead. What chance has she got of taking the overall title this year?
Well, the last 8 races, she's been in the top 10 6 times. So, yeah, if she keeps plugging away with such good consistency, without a doubt, Zubrilova has an opportunity, certainly, to come out top 3 in the world in the overall rating.
but maybe the top spot is too far away. Great battle going on between Olga Pilieva and Katie Wilhelm at the top, and don't rule out Sandrine Bailly of France. She's just over 60 points behind, 68 points behind the two leaders. But Bailly, I'm just looking down a run, she's been beautifully consistent this year. Won't lose too many points when they take away your three worst races, but she looks to be on good form. A great form in Antolz, 4th and the 1st there, 6th and 17th in San Sicario. Maybe she's just going over the top, but what do you think?
I think that was mainly due to her shooting. We did see her come back through as the fastest leg individual time overall in the relay, and we always see Sandrine Bailly performing that little bit better on the range when she has 3 spare rounds, takes the pressure away, and she had the fastest time. We haven't mentioned Poiré, didn't race in the relay for Norway, still trying to get her feel for biathlon back, and I wonder if that's going to come back
I've got
today.
a good feeling for Poiré today. She did win here last year, won this event last year. Katie Wilhelm won the world title here in 2001, so you've got plenty of choices and maybe a little bit of time left to place your money on the favourites. Great area, just a little warm since the last snowfall, but still getting problems with the pictures. Hopefully we won't miss any of the action from Pokljuka and the women's 7.5 kilometre sprint.
And there's the penalty loop. It's an interesting shape, this penalty loop. Very tight as you come out of the range, and you've got athletes coming off the penalty loop. Often there's very near, very close collisions there, so you have to be aware of many things when you're out on the track.
I've been thinking, why do they need, would it help if it wasn't actually a loop and it was just a U-turn at the top and then fed slowly back onto the track to avoid any of the collisions that we've seen?
That's a very good point.
Back to Pokljuka, we have just got the pictures back. Apologies for that little interruption, but I could watch that crash from Darren Ralphs time and time again. Good news is he survived it okay. I don't think we're going to see anything quite as spectacular here today, but there'll be plenty of action, and Uschi Diesel just starting for Germany. The great campaigner looking, I think she's thrown away her chance of winning the overall this year, so now she's got to turn her attentions to Hochfelsen and winning an individual world title for the first time ever. It's almost unbelievable. Of course, plenty of relay golds, but never won an individual title, and I don't think anyone is more deserving. Nazarova of Belarus. Simon was good yesterday. Is it going to be Nazarova's day today?
Well, the Belarus girls did do well on Sunday in the relay, and especially after a snap rifle from Ivanova in the first leg, and so consistency throughout the team. Bronze medal is good. They want silver or gold at the World Championships.
7.5 kilometres the distance here in Pokljuka, the World Championship tracks from 2001. They're tough, very tough indeed. Natalie Santa, about time we saw what she is capable of. It's not been a good season for Santa, and I just wonder whether this, her 14th season, may be her last, but you get the feeling, Mike, that she'll hang around for Torino 2006.
Well, she skis well, Natalie Santer. The big weakness in her game is her stand shooting, only 54%, and that really is what has been setting Natalie back throughout the whole World Cup season this year.
Quite why she can't get some tips off her boyfriend, Oleana Bjorndalen. It's strange that his effect hasn't really flowed over onto her. Pilieva going up to the first of the checkpoints at 1.3 kilometres. The World Cup leader, how's she comparing to Katie Wilhelm? Well, she's just in front, so I would suggest that Pilieva is pacing herself on the German.
Indeed, the best time at 1.3 kilometres, it's from the American, Jill Best Kraus.
Now, Kraus has been through the first shoot, and skiing that hard, you sort of get the feeling that she may miss targets, but we're still waiting for a score. Katie Wilhelm, all-important shoot for the German.
The wind, Patrick, is strong. Katie Wilhelm has added a heavy weight to the end of the barrel to try and give some more solid support. Big gust as she settled down into her position. Yeah, it really is affecting her. Now she adjusted her sights. I think that was 3 clicks left, so the wind must be coming from the right. It's kind of swirling around.
Slovenian Brankovic just about to start. 2 penalties for Kati Wilhelm. Doesn't do her chances of moving up into the yellow bib any good at all. Xingyang Lu now of China, 3rd in San Sicario last week. Can she go 2 better today? She's been so close this season. Oh, that's a good start. Shows that she has mastered the wind conditions. 7:20, almost certainly going to be the quickest time so far. Now, Lu, Mike, we've seen how quick she skis, but she's one of those who tends to tire in the closing stages. So maybe she needs to improve her pacing and maybe adopt tactics like Sven Fischer a little more.
Yeah, I think the strength of Lu is her enthusiasm for racing. She just charges on, and you're right. If she maybe held it back just a percentage in the first couple of loops, she'd have a little bit more left in the last 2.5. Berger's unlucky with the wind.
Yeah, big gust coming through as Berger went for shots 3 and 4. They both went wide. Suspect they both went to the right, but we haven't got a close-up on that target, unfortunately. And the Norwegian in the same boat as Kati Wilhelm. Here goes Uschi Diesel. Nice to see her switching sides. Did you used to have alternate lead on your skate one?
Indeed, yes. It takes a lot of training. Some people are more one side of body orientated than others. But in training, you can become used to switching gears, leading with the left leg, left arm. Then they're just like Uschi. In fact, she's doing the double dance. You need to be able to do that to rest your lead leg.
Especially if the track isn't absolutely horizontal, if it's not level. If the right-hand side of the track is higher, then you want to be able to lead with your right. If the left hand is slightly higher, you want to lead with the left leg. So that's why it's so important. World Cup tracks, that doesn't occur so often, but certainly if you're into marathon races, it occurs all the time.
Indeed it does, and you have to read the terrain, and Pilieva is one of the best at reading the terrain and the conditions. She's not going to squeeze that trigger until she's happy that her sights can cope with the 7 kilometers per hour wind.
7:33 to take the lead, 8:33 to stay ahead of Kati Wilhelm, which is what she's after.
Oh, she
panic setting in.
She can't figure it out. It's swirling left, then right. But if anybody can get 9 out of 10, she can't get the 10 out of 10 today.
That's a good recovery for Pilieva. I think Valerie Polkovsky, watching in the background, will be happy with the way that has gone. Just 1 penalty. She's still got oodles of time, if there is such a thing, to get inside Kati Wilhelm. But Xingyang Lu is going to hold on to that lead, and the Chinese skier having an excellent start. In fact, it's been 2 very good weeks racing for Lu, and maybe she is going to get herself some titles this year. Here's someone who certainly hasn't exceeded expectations this year, and if anything, has slightly underperformed.
Indeed, yeah, Martina Glago. Yeah, the last 4 races, 7th, 3rd, 5th and 24th last week in the sprint. That's just the sprint race result since Christmas. But yeah, and that's an indication of not quite having the fastest ski time. She does have the best prone shooting scores, Martina.
Yeah, her standing shoot a little down on last year's performance, but I think, as you say, it's the ski speed. Now, here's someone else who's got a huge amount of potential. Hasn't gone clear so far this year, Katrine Apel. 11th in the World Cup standings, but you always feel she's a threat.
Now, Katrine needs to prove to the coaches that she can make it happen today to secure a place, and she really is securing that place with shooting like that.
Well, that's a very good start for Apel. Little nervous for the standing shoot, which will come up in 2.5 kilometres time. It's going to take us 6-7 minutes or so to complete that distance, and Apel on her way to possibly her best result of the season. Hasn't been on the podium so far, but she's given herself every opportunity. Brankovic of Slovenia, one of the local stars. What can she do? 49th and 39th here last year, so it's not a course that particularly suits her style and build. I think the hills are too steep.
It's a good point. She's a stronger skier, and the extreme climbs just not suiting her technique to the best advantage.
They're just a bit too long.
Yeah,
that's particularly that one climb before you come into the range. Now, Uschi Diesel, what can she do to resurrect her season?
Can see her hair blowing in the wind there, but she's really coping well.
a positive start from Uschi Diesel, and she's just a fraction of a second perhaps behind Katrine Arpel. Only got 2 lanes to pass, and the clock will stop very soon. She's just going to be a couple of seconds outside. Second or third for Uschi Diesel, and Germany have 2 in the top 3 at the moment. All the information being passed over to Uschi Diesel, and as you can see, being told just 3 seconds down on the leaders. A good day for Germany so far. Can Simone Denkinger keep that run of success going? She's looked very promising. Like, this woman's finished 4th on 5 occasions in her career, never been in the top 3. Is that becoming something of a psychological problem?
It can be. Once you're out there on your final 2.5 loop and you're doing well, that there is some kind of block there, but as soon as she gets on the podium once, it'll break that, that psychological barrier.
Here comes the best prone shot on the tour so far this year, Martina Glago.
She's
good long look.
Having a real good look at what's happening in front of her. Well, there is an element of luck. You come into the range, it can be gustier, more windy than 2 minutes earlier or even 30 seconds earlier.
With Greta Poire just starting, Glago in the end just saying, well, I might as well get them down, and 2 hits out of the 5. That's the worst shoot we've seen from Glago for a number of years, and that's going to be very expensive indeed. She's going to struggle to make World Cup points today, and Mike, that may be put her out of favour for selection in the sprint at the World Championships.
Very serious indeed, the last sprint race before the World Champs.
Especially with Arpel going well, and of course with Denkinger, well, yet to shoot, but if Denkinger clears the targets, then Glago's got some serious skiing to do in the rest of this week. Brankovic knows this range better than anyone else here, so should be able to cope with the conditions.
Well, we saw the men yesterday. There's Thomas Koss having a good look. He scopes them all summer on this range. And yesterday the men didn't shoot well, the Slovenian men. Is it pressure? No advantage gained from this being their summer training base. Oh, what a pity for Brankovic.
Yeah, that's not good now. Lou, clear on the prone. She's already missed 1 standing. Needs to clear the rest. Skiing well and shooting well. That's another good run for Xingyang Lu. Well, it's too early to say that that's going to be a winning performance, because a number of the top Germans have gone clear on their first shoot. Kati Wilhelm, nice standing shoot so far, and she cleans it up. 5 out of 5, but those 2 misses early on could cost her a chance of her second successive sprint win. We'll have to wait and see. Olofsson of Sweden just coming out behind Kati Wilhelm after her prone shoot.
Well, Patrick, as Lou goes out for her final, in fact, she's just coming off the penalty loop. I think this could be the big day for the Chinese today, the Chinese biathlete Lou.
Oh, I tell you what, Jill Kraus-Bestes has a stunning run, Mike. She's come out just 30 seconds behind Kati Wilhelm after that second shoot. Not quite sure how many penalties she incurred on the stand. We'll try and get information on that. She must be on the loop because she's disappeared now. But skiing-wise, to be within 30 seconds of Wilhelm, I think Best will be delighted with the way things are going at the moment.
The good news for Lou, she's got Kati Wilhelm in her sights. She started 30 behind, and she's only 20 seconds behind now.
Thomas Koss coaching the Slovenian team. Now Tora Berger, who had an untidy prone shoot, needs to clear these 5. Rushed that 4th one. Oh, and again, little lack of discipline for the woman from Trondheim there. The first three were okay, but you could see the trigger movement, the trigger finger movement on shots 4 and 5. That's usually a giveaway that they're in a bit of a hurry. And Berger missing another 2, so an extra 600 metres in all for the Norwegian, and now they must put all their hope on the back of Liv Greta Poiré, who has just started, will be in for her first shoot in just a couple of minutes. We should go through some of the favourites who are starting later on, Mike. I see Sandrine Bay, a slightly later start today as Pilieva comes in for her stand. Sandrine Bay starting 34, Zaitseva 37, Elena Zabrilova 43 in Group 2, and Magdalena Gwizdon of Poland, who had an excellent run in San Sicario, starts 52. That's the last of the big stars, or the stars that are on form.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't see the score from Pilieva. We'll pick that up in a second. Guseva, skiing well. She's been given another chance, largely because 4 of the strong Russian athletes are at the European Championships right now. Last week we said it was our final viewing for selection, if you like. Just doesn't look to be strong this year at all, Guseva. Good shooting, though.
The European Championships taking place in Novosibirsk. And the Russians dominating up there, as expected. And I still don't quite understand why the European Championships scheduled for the same week as a very important World Cup meeting. Wilhelm's time. Lou missed 1 in the stand. Arpel needs this. 3 out of 5. Now she limits the damage, Mike, but how expensive are those 2 misses? The fall, well, that will cost another 15-20 seconds, and
she is taking so much time. She still had 1 minute there to do 2 penalty loops and get out, clear the range.
But there was no panic. There was no panic. She could easily have made a mistake and gone down again. What's happened? She's stuck on the mat, and the tip of the ski just sticking on the standing mat. I think.
Well, these mats are designed to be sticky, if you like, so that when you're standing on them, on your skis, you have grip. You're not going to slide back or forward. But that happens when you're trying to get off them quickly.
Diesel with a chance to be the first to go clear today, and if she shoots clear, then you know she's in with a chance of taking the win. But the first stand is wide. Lose time still achievable by Diesel, but now she's putting pressure on herself. A minute on the loop. She's going to be at least 15 seconds behind the Chinese, and it's going to be more like 20, 25. A lot of skiing for Uschi Diesel, but she was very quick on that middle loop, and if she can repeat that sort of performance, then she could be in the running. Here comes Sandrine Bay, 3rd in the World Cup standings. I know one of our regular contributors to the email site, Paul Young, fancies Bay's chances of taking the World Championship title in the sprint. And the Frenchwoman out on course. She'll be down to her first shoot in just a few minutes. That's Sandrine Bay. The Norwegians, all their attention now on Liv Greta Poiré. They've had a long wait to see when she's going to come back to form.
Zabrilova starting her race. And with a teammate winning yesterday, it must give her some hope. Just information, we saw Pilieva on the range. She actually missed 2 targets in the stand, down in 4th, 46 seconds behind after the range.
So as we watch Natalie Santa, the current standings after the second shoot, Lou, Arpel, Wilhelm, Pilieva, separated by 46 seconds, and Arpel 20 seconds down on Xinglang Liu. Standing shoot has always been Santa's problem. One miss for Poiré, you may have seen in the top. It's another repeat performance for Santa, Mike. It must be so depressing. She's going well at the halfway stage, only to throw away her chances of getting in the top 30 with 4 misses. Poiré, 1 miss. She's still in the running. We need to pick up on her ski time. Let's go back to shoot number 1. Arpel still the fastest with 7:30. Lou, her time 2.9 behind. Diesel 3.9 behind, but we know Diesel has missed in the standing shoot. Natalie Guseva having a good run for the Russians. 10.8 off the lead. Hasn't come in for a second shoot as yet. And Liv Greta Poiré of Norway, 1 miss in the prone, still waiting for confirmation of her time. She's yet to come off the loop. It's just going to be a couple of seconds before she does that.
Well, her teammate, Ishtad Christensen, has gone clear, start number 19, and she's only 13 seconds off the pace. Poiret's just come out now, 29 seconds behind. So, what, 8, 9 seconds off the fastest ski time. That's well respectable.
29 seconds, so she's still not skiing as fast as Arpel, which is a little surprising. Slower than Lou, but it's only a matter of seconds now. I think she's starting to come back. Maybe the pursuit event on Saturday is going to be where we see Poiret take her second win. In comes Kati Wilhelm. Started badly with 2 misses in the pro, and she had difficult conditions, recovered well in the standing. 22.40 the time for Kati Wilhelm. Now, what has Lou achieved over the last loop? 22.18. It's very quick indeed. 1 penalty on the day, which opens up the opportunities for the rest of the field, but Lou has skied like lightning. 22.27. That is astonishing. Third last time out. This could be better. Sandrine Bay, clear as ever, very, very quick indeed. She's in lane 2. It's only going to take 10 seconds to stop the gun. She'll be at least 10 seconds inside Katrine Arpel, the French woman on fire.
Well, Lou is having a look at the performance from Bailly, and I think she'll be disappointed. She has, 14 seconds ahead of Lou after the first shoot.
Still a standing shoot to come for the French woman, though.
From Greenland, Uluk Schlettermark. We don't often see her on the top page, but she's gone clear after the prone, 1 minute 21 behind.
Incidentally, if you're one of our viewers interested in the British skiers, good news is that both Mark Walker and Tom Clements put in excellent performances yesterday to qualify for a run in the pursuit. The bad news, if you see it like that, is that the British women have decided not to race. Emma Fowler needing the rest. But why is that the case, Mike? With 17 days to go before the World Championships, is that the right tactic?
I think it is, to be honest, Patrick. We saw Emma shooting so well immediately after Christmas. Lost a little bit of form as Tavalvi's coming in for another great day for the Romanian. But yes, with Emma, form going off, good to have a break at this point in the season.
So Lou could yet be denied. Ishtad Christensen has come in and out of the range for the second time. Her time 15.38, and her shooting score so far today, 1 penalty, so she's got exactly the same as Lou. She's only 4 seconds ahead. A very, very tight race developing here, which is in contrast to the way things worked out yesterday. Number 22, Florence Bavrel-Robert. Occasionally she is absolutely brilliant, and it looks as though this could be one of those days. 5th in the Olympic sprint in Salt Lake City. Has a chance to improve on that. Has to go clear.
She is doing so well in the strong wind. What a pity. 1 shot missed so far.
Pilieva 23.06 into 3rd position. She's down on Kati Wilhelm, but only by 1 place at the moment. But Mike, 26 seconds. That gives an opportunity to 4, 5, 6 people to slip in that time gap, and that could mean that the yellow bib disappears, and maybe she'll be wearing the red when it comes to the pursuit.
Possible, with only 9 points in it between Wilhelm and Pilieva at the start of today.
Well, 6 points actually. So they've only got to be a couple of places apart. But if a number of people finish ahead of Wilhelm, then the gap between the points between the places gets less and less. So I think that's what Pilieva has got to hope for.
And Tofalvi from Romania, unbelievably a fantastic race. She's in 5th position, splitting Wilhelm and Pilieva.
Here comes Katrine Arpel. It's a strong finish from Arpel. 6 times she's finished in the top 10 this season. She hasn't shot clear. She hasn't finished on the podium. She could change that today. 22, 33, 34, 35. Can she get in ahead of Wilhelm? Yes, she does. 22.37. Arpel with her best race of the season, we think. Lou, though, stays top. 22.27. Arpel just 10 seconds down, but she'll be delighted to have beaten Kati Wilhelm. That's just what she needed to say to Frank Ulrich and Uwe Musa Gang, look, I am worth taking. Not only am I worth taking, but you should race me.
Isn't it strange? There's so many athletes. Gutseva is another one whose position for the World Champs is on the line, and Gutseva has just gone out after the stand ahead of Katrine Appel. It's all changed today.
Still Istat leading after the second shoot as we hone in on her teammate, Eikeland. It's a good steady shoot from Eikeland. I think she'll be impressed with that performance. Here's Maguro, very quick skier indeed, but once again has thrown 3 targets wide, 4th position, 23 minutes. Take those 3 penalties off, and she's a good 35-40 seconds inside the time set by Lu of China, but she missed 3. Once she gets a clear shoot, Mike, she could be the first Japanese winner.
Maguro has been skiing amazingly well. We don't often pick up on it because she shoots so badly, but great to see the Japanese in 4th so far at the finish.
Diesel just creeps in ahead of Maguru and 16 seconds down on her teammate Wilhelm. Now Elena Zabrilova, 1 miss early on. It's expensive. You can see just how expensive. We'll go back to shoot number 1 just to give you an indication of the standings as we watch Kong of China clear on the first shoot, and this could be very good indeed. 15:38. Well inside at the moment. It's another astonishing run. Kong hits 10 out of 10. 14:59 on the clock at the moment. 36 seconds, 35 now to get inside Ishtak Christiansen. A little bit further down the range. It will take 15 seconds or so for the clock to stop, but she's at least 15 seconds inside the Norwegian. And Kong skiing a little bit slower. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight indeed. 23 seconds between them. What will that news do to Kong?
A 22-year-old Kong is unbelievably strong. She did come 8th last week. I think the news is good. She will carry the confidence to the end. Maybe lose 6 or 7 seconds on Istat.
Big moment for Poiré, having regular nightmares in the standing shoot this year. 4 out of 5 will go some way to leaving that, and she's done well. 4 out of 5, and Poiré, 1 more penalty loop to ski. It's not going to be a winning performance, but if she can get herself back in the top 7 or 8, then I think we'll see her form climbing, and she'll be in a strong position at the start of the pursuit on Saturday.
Absolutely, it has to be a good thing. Only missing 2 today for Poiré, and building that badly needed confidence.
Very few clear after the second shoot. In fact, only 1 person clear. That was Ling Chao Kong. We've just seen her go through 15:15 her time. Lu being pushed down to 3rd at that stage. After the first shoot, we've got a good situation developing. Any of the late starters coming through, Mike? I see Pareto of France in 5th place.
And Zabrilova, although missing 1, 52 seconds behind, still gives her an opportunity on the stand.
Zaitsev, who you thought might go well, she's just outside the top 10 after the first shoot. Now here's Sandrine Bay. The time is good. Still inside Kong, should she clear the lot.
Well, she can still win.
So 4 out of 5, 14:29, 45 seconds to get off the range, complete the loop. She's going to be 5 or 6 seconds inside. I don't think it's going to be Kong's day. Sandrine Bay could well take that one. Well, I think next time I put some money on an event, Mike, I might give Paul Young a ring. His predictions have been very good so far. We'll see how it holds for the World Championships.
And I think we need to speak to him before these races.
Well, I hear he's just joined the Manchester Ski Club just to try and get some experience. And a very active club it is indeed. Summer and winter, lots of roller skiing going on, lots of winter events organised.
I think he'll enjoy his roller skiing, and they do an awful lot of roller skiing over there in Manchester to develop their skills, their balance skills, as do a lot of these athletes racing here. The summer months really are spent mostly on roller skis.
And if you've got any ideas as to who's going to take the World Championship titles, do drop us an email at biathlonboys@hotmail.co.uk. We'd like to hear from you.
Just looking at the results, Patrick, after the stand shoot, Sandrine Bailly has gone out 0.2 of a second ahead of Kong. So 2.5 kilometres to try and keep that lead, or in fact make that lead greater.
Well, Kong should be coming up the hill shortly. There she is in the background. It's a question of what she's got left in the fuel tank for this last loop, and particularly for this last long hill, the killer hill of Pokljuka that has beaten many a top athlete. Kong's getting lower and lower, indicating her tiring, Mike, but she's keeping the work rate nice and high.
She is, but with Sandrine Bailly given the information that she's ahead by less than a second, you feel that Sandrine can attack this hill just with a little bit more aggression. Kong clearly giving her absolute best, but I don't think the best is good enough to take the victory.
She looks tired. She looks very tired. 19:39 was Ishtat's time at this stage. How is she doing? When Kong came out of the range, she had a 22-second lead on Ishtat, and that has grown to 25. So she's pulling time back on the Norwegian, which must be a good indication. But Sandrine Bailly has been on ominous form over the last 3 weeks, and she's a little bit lighter. She's just very, very quick on the feet. Zaitseva, 15:34. What's she done? She's not skiing quite as well as we've known in the past, but it's a good shooting performance, obviously. 19.2. I think that's a little too far back to chase that down.
I think so. Remember, Zaitseva, though, has been on the high-altitude camp. 2,500 metres they were training in Armenia prior to San Sicario, so there could well be benefit, and a final good 2.5 in her body.
Herreto throws her 10th shot of 10 wide, and that has cost her a chance of taking the win, because it would have been very competitive indeed. 15:15 was certainly achievable, but that's going to come down to something like 15:30, which will put her down in 5th, 6th or 7th place. Quite tight between Lou, Gusefa and Arpel at the moment. Mike, the Russian cross-country team have been in Armenia as well. Lots of talk going on about their performances in recent weeks. Do you think it's right that other teams analyse people? No one's made any accusations, but there's always lots of chat going around the team rooms when a team, when they all do well.
Well, I think it is relevant, as a Tofalvi for Romania, brilliant performance, 7th place. Yeah, I think it's relevant with the World Championship starting this afternoon in Oberstdorf. When the Russian girls in the season so far, we've only ever had 2 in the top 12, and yet in Reitenwinkel leading into the World Championships cross-country skiing, we had 6 in the top 10. And all the other teams are beginning to say, well, wait a minute, how come you have turned up the volume, turned it so good at this late stage going into the World Championships? So there are a number of sort of, covered accusations going around.
But nothing has been proven. But I think it's a good thing that it's talked about. It's got to be out in the open, and I think that's why they're likely to be innocent. A number of the Norwegians, Marit Bjørgen in particular, says no, that the Russians are hugely talented. We know they've got the talent. They've all put the good results in before. And to be fair, the Russian biathletes have started to pick their form up after this training camp in Armenia.
Indeed, and that's what you need as an athlete. You go to high altitude, or you do specific training camps, and you want to be at your best. And I'm delighted Bjørgen did say that. She's the best female cross-country skier, and she said, well, I respect the fact that they're clean.
Kong coming into finish now, 21:55. She takes the lead away from Ishtat, but lost a little time on the descent to the stadium, and that could cost her the win here in Pokljuka. 10 seconds going missing on that downhill stretch. I think that could all have been because she didn't attack the top of the hill, just too tired to do so.
Equipment as well, Patrick. Yeah. It's not the equipment, it's the preparation of the equipment. Remember, we've said many times they don't have the backup, the expertise on preparing the skis. What a pity for the Chinese.
Well, still with Kong and Liu both going well, I tell you what, they could do well in the relay, but they just need a slightly bigger squad to be a real threat to Germany, Russia and Norway.
Hey Patrick, top of the hill, Sandrine Bailly has lost time. She's 0.6 of a second down on Kong, but you've got to have the feeling that her skis, or the downhill section, she might well pick that back up. 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, I can't see Bailly being on second-rate equipment at this stage of the season. Another good ski time from Simone Denkinger, but 3 misses, ruling her out of the top positions. Elena Zabrilova, 8 out of 10. I wonder what she can do over the last 2.5K. She's a strong skier when she's on form, but Mike, Zabrilova, above all else, if she's skiing well, she's shooting well. Liv Greta Poiré missed the same number as Zubrilova, 22.45, 6th position, looks over her shoulder anxiously, and crucially, Mike, she's finished between Wilhelm and Pilieva. I think Wilhelm is going to be in yellow for the pursuit.
Well, it certainly looks that way indeed.
In fact, almost certainly, because there are 6 places between them now and only 6 points splitting them. So wherever Wilhelm ends up, Pilieva is going to lose out on that yellow bib. And still waiting for news of Sandrine Bailly, who got a reasonably late start, got a good draw in Group 1, started 34th. She's got Zaitseva behind her, who's shot brilliantly, but skiing a little bit slower. I can't see anyone else on the start sheet who's really likely to threaten Bailly's time. Here she comes into the finish now, and staying low, 0.6 behind, 21.41. Ah, what a brilliant finish from Sandrine Bailly. 15 seconds taken out of Kong on the descent into the stadium. How much of that is equipment?
Well, I honestly believe when all the hard work has been done to the top of that hill, it's only 900 metres, mainly downhill, it is equipment, or it's the preparation of the equipment. What a pity for Kong. But great day for Sandrine Bailly.
So another good day for the French here in Slovenia, in Pokljuka, and Sandrine Bailly recording what we think is going to be a winning time. 21.41, her finishing time for 7.5 kilometres. Mike thinks the victory largely due to the equipment she was wearing, but I think I'd put my money on the fact that if Kong and Bailly had been on the same skis, Bailly would still have finished that little bit faster.
She is a very strong finisher, but the huge glide factor in that long downhill segment is a real issue.
But once you start producing top results, you get top equipment. So Kong will certainly get an offer, I think, over the next few weeks, and hopefully we'll see another good run from her. Andrea Henkel, a little bit of pressure on her if she wants to qualify for the World Championship races. 2 misses on a normal day, that wouldn't be too bad, but with Arpel and Wilhelm both going well, and Diesel in the top 10, Henkel unlikely to be selected, I think, for the German sprint team. Hu of China, 3 misses, so it hasn't all gone the Chinese way. Wind particularly strong at that stage.
Indeed, Hao is skiing so well, like the other 2 Chinese girls we've seen, but missing 3 targets and you're prone. The first shoot really does set you back. Zaitseva coming in.
One of only 2 to 3 to a shot clear so far today. 22.12 for Zaitseva. That is a good recovery. 22.12, 31 seconds down. She's lost another 13 seconds on the last 2.5 kilometres, Mike. A little tired.
Yeah, the power, if you like, not being able to maintain the speed right to the end. Henkel there, minute off the pace.
Just check whether any of the later starters are coming through. Number 39, Pareto, we mentioned before. She's now through the standing. The best of the late starters, Mike, is Denisova of Russia, who started number 65 and just a minute ahead of Ananko, who's also gone clear. And Ananko quick enough for a top 20, but not much more than that. So we need to watch out for number 65. She could, certainly if she shoots clear in the standing, could well make a chase for a podium finish. But it's going to be another 6 minutes or so before she comes in to shoot for the second time.
Nurkvi suffering from a couple of big strong gusts of wind that have come through the range. Tofalvi, the Romanian, still in the top 15 position. Disappointing, 3 penalties, knocks the stuffing, depresses you.
Here comes Pareto, who was going very well after the prone shoot in the top 15, has kept that going. That's an impressive run. Top 10 at the moment for Pareto. So France 1 and 10, and if only the likes of Sylvie Becard was back on her best form, then the French really would be contenders for the relay title in 3 weeks' time.
Indeed, well, Sylvie should be coming in any second now for her prone shoot. And as you say, Sylvie, not been in great form. Guisdon.
Now, excellent run in San Sicario to get herself on the podium last week. Hit 10 out of 10 on that occasion. And all of a sudden, she's only got a 60% hit rate. 3 misses in the prone. I think we can put that down to the wind. I miss her shoot, to be honest, but it's so rare for Guisdon to miss 3 in the prone. I think she must have just struck unlucky with her arrival time. 18 clear after the first shoot so far today. The situation very different after the second shoot. We've got a clear shoot for Kong and Zaitseva, and Liv Kirsti Eikeland of Norway also going clear. But those are, I was going to say, the only 3. Tracy Barnes of the United States, Mike. First time I've seen her go clear this season, and she's got herself some valuable World Cup points, up in 15th place, and for once ahead of Rachel Steer, who's down in 20th. That will be a very interesting race over the final stages of this women's 7.5. Here comes Eikeland, 1 of 4 to go clear, 23.18 the time, and a useful 17th place, just behind Simone Denkinger. Makarova of Russia, this would be a nice way to finish.
She really is trying to get this last shot. Good effort, she held it, she held her nerve, and well, could well be World Cup points today.
I think it's hard to appreciate just what the body feels on that last shot, the 5th shot of standing, Mike. I've always likened it to trying to stay underwater for a minute and a half, and it's that last 10 seconds when your body just desperately wants to breathe. The CO2 drive, as they call it, has kicked in, and all you want to do is breathe, but you're just trying to hold it on. So Makarova, very disciplined, and has done well to clear the last 5 standing targets.
And saved herself. There we are, we can see it now, the penalty loop, 150 metres, taking about 23-25 seconds today, depending on the athlete and the speed they're attacking it. Well, Koblar, in the summer months, her accommodation has been 200 metres from this range in the army barracks at the top of this mountain.
And she's a woman who's won World Cups before. In fact, she's got 3 wins to her name, the last of those back in 1998. So it's been a while. But they do say once a winner, always a winner.
Gregorin as well, so 2 Slovenians in the range at the same time.
Has to block out the crowd. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. The rhythm's slightly broken. That last shot a little quicker, and it has cost her 1 penalty loop. Koblar could have been on her way to a top 10 result, Mike. That was very impressive, and she's skiing well. So a clear shoot in the stand, and we could see a Slovenian in the top 10 rankings. That would be encouraging for them. Of the other nations that are coming through, we always mention the Norwegians, Germans, Russians. Ukraine will be happy to have a Fremova lying in 11th place at the moment after the second shoot. And the Romanians with Eva Tefalfi, she's 57 seconds down on the best, 1 penalty missed, so the potential to hit the top 5.
Well, the Romanians are growing in stature. Remember, last week they were in 3rd place until the 3rd leg of the relay, and that does grow. Italy, Saskia Santorin, 18th position after the stand shoot, and Zina Cocker from Canmore in Canada.
Another good run for her.
She really is building, isn't she? And that's with 2 penalty misses.
Number 80, Anne-Laure Miniret, just joined the tour when we went to Antolz in Italy for the 6th round of the World Cup. 72% hit rate in the prone, and one of a few biathletes who has a better record in the standing, but she needs to hit 5 in the prone. This is where the problems have come this year.
Her drills, her skills of taking the rifle off and clearing the range are one of the best. Throws the rifle on within about half a second. Great to see the focus from her right eye. No blinking. There we are, a couple of blinks now. Well, that's so impressive, and a top 7-8 position as she clears the range.
Well, that's against the odds. Mira with her best shoot of the season in the prone position, and let's hope she can back it up with a clear stand and keep the race alive. Denisova of Russia has got the opportunity because 4 of the top Russian stars away at the European Championships in Novosibirsk, as we've mentioned. Incidentally, we haven't got coverage of those events, but as this week goes on, we'll keep you informed with how they're going. But at the moment, we can tell you that the Russian women are dominating without too much bother.
To top 4 positions yesterday, they did.
Urieva goes clear in the prone and joins the elite 20 as far as the prone shoot goes. 7:42. The time doesn't look too bad. Possibly a top 15 for Urieva. Away she goes. 7:47 the time. 12th position, just ahead of her teammate Denisova, and behind Kong, who remember has gone clear in the stand as well. Standings at the finish at the moment. Sandrine Bay, the leader, started 34, has got a time of 21:41, 14 seconds clear of Yingkao Chong of Kong of China, who went clear, but is still just that little bit slower, 40 seconds or so slower than Bay as far as skiing goes. Istad Christensen of Norway lying in 3rd position at the moment with 1 miss. There we have confirmation, and Zaitseva is on the course, has failed to hold on to Istad's position. So Olga Zaitseva is getting better, Mike, but she's still got a little way to go as far as her ski form goes.
Form is coming back, and in fact placed 4th as she came across the line.
Yeah, but she was 3rd after the second shoot, so losing 1 position, that to Istad Christensen. Xingyang Liu, she's really got to go clear if she wants to win, and her skiing doesn't look quite as good as it did in Ruhpolding.
And 45 seconds behind, indeed. I still believe today that with their lack of expertise on preparing the skis, the Chinese women have suffered.
Another young Norwegian brought into the team, Igstad Bjør. 5 out of 5. That's a solid shoot, but the wind kind to her, but it doesn't matter. She'll be very happy to have got those down. She's going to be just behind Poiré. Suddenly we're starting to see that Poiré's performance, Mike, is pretty mediocre.
Well, Ingstad Bjør, as we see there, she was only given this morning to prepare. She had no idea she was racing, but Borghild Uren was taken out. Didn't feel well this morning, and that's a great performance so far.
No pressure, nothing expected of her. She's only 53 seconds off the leaders, and this is a great experience for her.
And the Norwegians, they take more athletes than they need to race just in case this situation does happen. And
I think Norway and Russia have realised how important it is. The Germans don't seem to have done it over the past, probably because all their top skiers want to race. They never want to sit one out. But it's going to be interesting to see in 3 or 4 years' time whether Norway and Russia do overtake the Germans.
Quite possible, because they're developing their young athletes. Mali, another Slovenian who knows this place so well, hasn't been shooting that well lately. Positive, fast rhythm.
Personal best of 9th position in a World Cup. She got that in Antolz 2 years ago, and that 1 miss really ruins her chance of improving on that.
Very good sprinter. She's good over the 1.5 kilometres, and in fact did race at the Olympics for cross country, I believe finishing 6th or 7th position back in Salt Lake City. I wonder if she's going to Oberstdorf for the sprint races. I didn't manage to find out.
David Goldstrom covering the Nordic World Championships for Eurosport this week, and of course the men's 15k. Really, it used to be regarded as the blue ribboned event of the Nordic Championships. I'm not sure it is now, with the format all changing, and I wonder who's going to take the win in the men's 15, Mike. Have you got any fancies?
Well, the Oleana Bjørndalen wants a medal clearly, but it's a difficult one to call. The Italians are really on good form.
Bjørndalen's got a start.
He has got a start. His start number, just checking through the result, the start sheet. Bjørndalen starts in the 70s, I believe. Just trying to confirm that. In fact, 91, Oleana Bjorndalen, starting this afternoon at 15:45 Central European time.
So he doesn't have the advantage of starting after all the top stars. They all go in the last group in Oberstdorf today. They've had some good snow conditions down there. All the coaches saying that the 75 centimetres of snow that fell last week, just what they needed on top of the artificial base. And I think all the technicians will enjoy the fact that they're now waxing on real snow. Although, on the other hand, they've been on artificial snow all season. So they probably lost some of the skills that they had in previous years.
That's a good point. I think for me, Lars Berger, in my mind, is a favourite to win because he's start number 63, so he really is the best of the strong contenders, going way ahead of everybody else. But he's such an unusual athlete. He can bring this incredible performance out. Hopefully he can do it today.
No bias there then, favouring the biathletes over the cross-country skiers.
I just thought as we're watching biathlon, we'd plug that one.
Well, it will be interesting. We'll bring you the situation, and David Goldstrom, as we say, will be covering the men's 15-kilometre live this afternoon. I know he's looking forward to that event, and we'll keep our eyes out and keep you informed of all the news from Oberstdorf over the next couple of weeks. Biathlon World Championships taking place in March this year, largely because of the fact that we've just had the Alpine and now the cross-country, so they don't want them to overlap.
Koblar is being pushed and moved around by the strong wind at the moment. And there we are, 4 penalties. How depressing. You can see it in her body language.
Another of the Slovenians just finished, number 60, Teja Grigorina, a 24-year-old student, and she's got herself into 32nd position, just missing out on World Cup points. 2:16 behind, take away 50 seconds. She's a minute and 20 seconds or so slower than the fastest. Now, Mingere, big moment for her, real opportunity to not only get a good result, but she's got a chance to take the lead away from Sandrine Bailly. Must go clear, but one penalty and she's still in the top 10, so this is a big moment for Mingere. Time ticking away. It's painful.
Strong discipline there to break the position. She's suffering to bring oxygen in, trying to wait for the wind to die down, but it's not going to. It's picking up, in fact.
She went clear in the stand in San Sicario.
Look at the time ticking, though. She's been here for 46 seconds. That's a long time for your 5 shots. The best today is shot in 27 seconds.
No, she's being blown all over the place. This is very unfortunate. It really was a real opportunity, and it's almost painful to watch. But she holds and she holds, and the longer this goes on, the more difficult it is to hit. Last one goes down, some sort of a recovery. 3 out of 5 for Mingere, and a potential win. She's now going to be struggling to finish in the top 15. Yureva of Russia.
Incredible, the wind is much kinder, only 40 seconds later. But still the same result, 2 penalties.
But it is a feature of the Pokljuka range, Mike. It's very well protected from wind from 270 degrees, but if it switches and comes from slightly from behind, then it fills the range and swirls around, sets up all these vortexes, and that's why it's so tough. And as always, there's luck involved, but I think more so here in Pokljuka than anywhere else. Koblar just on her last loop now. 89 starters today, a very much reduced field as the teams start to narrow down or reduce the numbers in their preparation for the big championships. There are the standings at the finish. It's still Bailly at the top with 21.41. Kong holding on to a podium finish. So is Ishtag Christiansen. Looks as though they may well survive. Zaitseva, Xinjiang, Liu in the top 5. Other impressive performances. Efremova of Ukraine in 11th. She'll be happy with that. Ushi Diesel, Mike, once again outside the big points, and her chance of the overall really gone now.
Yes, Uschi Diesel confirming she is down in 12th place, but she did miss 3 targets, so the ski speed is there. Ingstad Björk.
What are the chances of her finishing with a clear shoot? Wind is still there, not quite as strong as it was for Mingere.
Well, with just been given the orders to race this morning, there's less pressure. That she didn't lie awake thinking about the race today because she didn't know she was racing.
Lots of tension in the face.
Very much. Unusual stand position as well, but 4 penalties.
She looked as though she almost accepted that, and that was disappointing after such a good start. So I think those in the top 3 can relax. I think they almost know for sure that they're not going to be beaten now. We've still got Andrea Marley and Martine Albert out on the course waiting to come in for their second shoot, and who knows, they could get into the top 10 should they go clear. Sylvie Beccard, Mike, number 69. She's gone 1-1. That's a better performance, but still got some way to go before she gets back to her best.
And Katja Beer just finishing 22nd. Now that sets her up 1 minute 48 behind the leader for the pursuit race, but it's a long way to catch up potentially to the podium in the pursuit. But Katja Beer does shoot fast and only missed 2 targets today.
So with no one threatening the top positions, we can talk about the pursuit now, which takes place on Saturday. Bailly is almost certainly going to have the lead. She's got a 14-second lead. That's quite useful. 100 metres or so ahead of Kong, who I don't think she'll be too worried about. Ishtag Christensen, Zaitseva, Lou. Where is the first of the major challenges as we watch Andrea Marley? The last chance for the Slovenians to produce a good home result.
Now, to get the top 30 to pick up more World Cup points, that's Marley's aim today. She was 41st last week in Italy.
I think I picked up 139 on the pulse watch there at the end of that shoot. Mike, can't be absolutely sure because it wasn't a very clear picture, but 139, would that be average?
That would be, yes. By the time you're 5th short, you've recovered for 30 seconds, 25, 30 seconds. Does drop down very quickly. They are pushed so hard in training that your recovery is so quick indeed. And that's what biathlon is about, being able to recover within 20, 30 seconds. But missing 3 targets. Thomas Koss, the coach, was utterly disappointed. So was Andrea Marley. Well, skiing fast for Yin. The last starter, 19-year-old. And 4 penalties in total.
So, Mike, we were talking about the penalty loop earlier and maybe reversing the direction of flow. And if you just have a U-bend, it's fine if you just have 1 penalty because you just go on and off in the same direction as all the other races, so there's no chance of a collision. If you have to do 2, surely you just complete a little connection between the loop and you go back onto it. That way you still don't get these 90-degree crossovers that we get at the moment as they feed on and off the loop.
Well, in Holmenkollen we've seen collisions. We've seen collisions so many times as one athlete's going onto the loop and one is coming out. Yeah, there could be a better way of doing that. Adele Turner was knocked over and damaged when she was collided into. As Lanny Barnes comes in, 51st, she'll get a race in the pursuit race.
At the moment, still got a few finishers to come, so she could be pushed down outside the top 60, but it's going to be close for Barnes. But either way, she's going to be at the back of the field and a lot of chasing to do. The Italians, not their best day, but I think they will be happy that Sasha Santa has had a better run today. Rusu of Romania, 1 and 3, 4:51 down. could find herself pushed outside the top 60. This is a real opportunity for those who don't normally get a start in the pursuit, because the field 30 less than normal. Only 88 starters, in fact, today, with the withdrawal of Michaela Ponza due to illness. And for that reason, a bit of a shame that Emma Fowler isn't here.
Indeed, an opportunity missed, you could say, with the Swedes not being here. A number of the top Russians over at the European Champs, and some of the top Germans. Christelle Gros just come in, 23rd position, shooting 1 and 1. I think we'll see more spectators for the weekend. The mass start race and the pursuit.
Andrea Koblar.
She became a mother last year, and her summer training, rebuilding, getting her body used to training again.
Now, some of them recovered very quickly after that experience. Others, like Julia Shapalova, taking a bit longer to get back to top form. Katarina Neumann over on the cross-country circuit was absolutely flying after having her first child. Koblar, 4 misses in the standing, really what put her down. 55th position at the moment, should start in the pursuit. But we still have 12 to cross the line. And Anne-Laure Mignoret, who had that agonising standing shoot, lost 45 seconds just from delays alone. 23.48, 29th position. What a shame. She could have won this one today, Mike. That shoot has cost her 29 places at least.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But remember, she held her discipline on the range for so long. She was 1 minute and 7 seconds shooting time, so lost a further 30 seconds there. For Mignoret, a 31-year-old, to be making her debut in the World Cup's scene, it is impressive. She's been racing Europa Cup as 77. Pavkochikova came in, Slovakia.
Well, there you see just how strong the wind has got, and that is why Mignoret had such a problem with the standing shoot. The last of the Norwegians out on the course.
That's an example of the encouragement you get out, or the Norwegian athletes get out on the track, the steepest of hills.
Well, I think you could do not only with a bit of shouting, a bit of a push as well on that particular section. It really is a tough section, and I'll never forget Marco Morgenstern of Germany collapsing on that particular hill. It wasn't a pretty sight, very concerning, but he then collapsed the next year as well. Of all the hills on all the courses that you ever raced, what ranks as the worst?
This, to be honest, in my mind is one of the worst, because your legs have been stripped of energy leading into this with the 3 or 4 quick rises, and then it is a long climb. The advantage is, and this little steep bit, we don't get a true image of this. This is like hitting a wall, a 12-foot high wall, and that's just the final punishment at the top of the hill.
Well, that was Thiele of the United States who hit it a bit harder than the Norwegian, being overtaken by Ingstad Bjør.
Other courses which in my mind Canmore, the Olympic courses, there have been World Cups there. Some of the climbs there were extreme. And in Hantimansisk as well, the final World Cup this season, there's one huge climb comparable to the one here.
And Kontiolahti has a pretty vertical climb as well, just before you come into the range, just to push the pulse up above 200 beats per minute. Tanaka of Japan, a strong finish from the woman from Hokkaido. 5 misses last week. She's
51st today.
4 today, so she's improved on that, but she was still 2 minutes slower than best ski time. Andrea Marley looks to be slowing a little. .22.57, 4 misses.
Natalie Sander just looking down at the finish there. She's 42nd place, so she'll get a start in the pursuit race. There's Andrea. Hop hop, as they say down here.
It's a good 45-minute drive down to the nearest town, Bled. Superb area. And it's a bit of a windy road. And it always surprises me that all the teams make it to the top in one piece.
Well, there have been many occasions where snow chains have had to be put on leading up to a race day. You don't have the four-wheel drive, or even if you do have the four-wheel drive, it's a slippy 20-kilometre drive.
So what will most of the teams do when they finish here? They've then got 14 days or so before the World Championships. Most of them will go home. Others will go to altitude.
I think others will go to altitude. They will need, after these 2 weeks of heavy-duty racing, there will need to be a break, certainly 4 or 5 days, and then the final preparation for the World Championships in Hochfilzen. Some teams will be going to Hochfilzen 4 or 5 days before the first race, just to get the feeling of the tracks there. Final preparation.
Ingstad Bjør, who was going so well at the halfway stage, could have got herself into the top 15. She's gone 64th with those 4 misses in the standing. She's missed out on the pursuit run, which is a real shame for the Norwegian. Thiele of the United States down in 65th position. Jeremy Thiele's wife. And Jeremy looks to be on good form skiing-wise, Mike. I just wonder whether he's going to be able to get his shooting together in the next couple of weeks.
It would be a delight to see that. Jeremy Thiele is one of the strongest athletes out there. But the one aspect, the difficult aspect, the shooting has let him down for a number of years. When he gets it right, though, we've seen him 9th here at the World Championships in 2001. So he is a contender. 12th at the Olympics as well.
Nukiel of Poland aiming to shoot clear in the standing today, but it hasn't happened yet again. 1 and 2 her record. The Chinese, incidentally, lying in 2nd and 5th position at the moment, with Kong in 2nd, Liu down in 5th position. The strongest nation, well, it's a fair mix today. We've got France leading with Sandrine Bay, then we have China, Norway in 3rd with Istad Christiansen. They also have Poiré in 8th position, Mike, despite missing 2 targets, so the result not quite as bad as we thought initially. 104 off the leaders. Germany with 2 in the top 10 as well. Wilhelm lying in 7th. Katrine Arpel, one of her best runs of the year so far, in 6th position, 56 down off the leaders. So we're set up nicely for an exciting pursuit event. It will be Sandrine Bay who leads the way. Do you think she's going to make it a double here in Pokljuka, or do you think someone else from further down the order is going to come through?
Well, she has the number 1 today. I think Sandrine Bay will stay with number 1 in the pursuit. She is so disciplined when it comes to the pursuit race.
Kong with a clear shoot has failed to beat Bay, so she's going to have to shoot clear and hope that the Frenchwoman makes mistakes if it's going to be Kong's first ever win. Gros, Istad Christiansen, solid performance from her to get 3rd. Further down the order, Delphine Perretto of France will be delighted to make the top 10 with just 1 missed shot. Fremova we've mentioned before. Uschi Diesel losing points to the leaders once again, but I guess the big news really is that Kari Wilhelm, Mike, has gone ahead of Olga Pilieva in the World Cup standings. Wilhelm 7th, Pilieva down in 15th. There were only 6 points between them. There is no doubt that the German is on top of the World Cup standings as we go into race 19 now of the 27 scheduled for the season. And Pilieva is going to have to make sure she hits targets to limit the damage in the pursuit.
Absolutely. 2 Americans making the top 30. Tracy Barnes, 25th. Rachel Steer, 28th. Great day for them. Points for 2 of their athletes.
And Miniere, despite missing 4 in the standing, still in the top 30. Tora Berger, disappointing run for the Norwegian, down in 36th on the occasion. And Rebo, son of China. So we've got 3 Chinese at least in the pursuit. In fact, we've got 4 because Kuo Yin is in the top 60 as well. Natalie Santa all went wrong in the standing yet again for her. 43rd position in the women's pursuit today. Lanny Barnes in 56, so both the Barneses racing in the pursuit on Saturday. And the last of those to qualify, Yuxia Hu of China. 8 misses, but she's only 3:48 down. She's not skiing too badly.
That really is exceptional ski form for the 25-year-old. Terrible shooting on this windy day, but she certainly has a big opportunity to move further up from 60.
Many of those outside the top 60 getting poor conditions. Ulok Sledermark, only 4 misses, but some way down, lives in Nuuk, the capital of Greenland. So that just about wraps up our coverage from Pokljuka for today. Good news for the French. They have taken the win with Sandrine Bailly in the women's 7.5 kilometre sprint. Plenty of action still to come from Pokljuka, and it's going to be fast and furious from now on, with just pursuits and mass starts to come. The men's 12-kilometre pursuit tomorrow, 1300 European time, so 12 o'clock if you're watching in the UK. That's the start time for the men's pursuit. As we just have a look at the top 3 from today. Gro Marit Ishtag Christiansen, nice solid performance. I'm really impressed with her. 1 miss in the stand, Mike, but still skied fast enough to get herself into 3rd position.
Yeah, good rounded performance, as you say. 1 miss in the stand, but notably the ski form is great. She's 3rd fastest ski time out there today, and that has to be promising leading into the 2 weeks to the World Championships.
For China, 22-year-old from Dalian, she's got her first ever podium. Ying Chao Kong was on the verge of victory, but had to settle for 2nd in the end. Clear in the prone, and no mistakes in the standing. 10 out of 10 for Kong. Just lost a little bit of power on the descent into the stadium. That is where she lost the race. She had the lead with just 1 kilometre to go. Could be the equipment, could also be the fact that she just couldn't believe she was in that situation. A good performance nonetheless. The Chinese delighted to have someone on the podium. Kong in 2nd place. But the best, yet again, Sandrine Bailly. 3rd position in the World Cup standings, but closing the gap down on the leaders with a great performance here. 9 out of 10 on the range. The prone was perfect. 1 slight mistake in the standing. But really, Mike, Bailly is 30 seconds better than anyone at skiing at the moment.
Yes, blistering form out there. She does shoot quite fast, so gaining time on most of the other athletes on the range. But her track, her form really is on the up.
So Sandrine Bailly moves up to 540 points and really does close the gap. The top 3 in the world now, Wilhelm Pilieva and Sandrine Bailly of France.